Hi guys, and welcome back to another one of my Knit Talk videos. Okay, so I am so excited for this video because I took a very special trip. Just a few weeks ago, I went to Amsterdam. It was, I would say, completely random, but I did technically plan it for 9 months. But so I have a friend. Her name is Melinda. We met. She was my roommate when I went to study abroad in my master's program, and on that trip, we went to Milan, Italy, and a couple of surrounding little towns around there, and we had the best of time. That was actually we had only met like maybe a few weeks before that in the beginning of the class, and we had a great time in Italy. We were roommates, so we spent a lot of time together. And so from that point, we were just like, best friends. And it's funny because like after that, we then graduated, and we didn't talk like consistently on an everyday basis, but like we always kept up with each other. And so randomly one day, I was like, haven't been on an international trip in a while. This is like 2 years since the Italy trip. I was like, you know what? I think Amsterdam would be a really cool place. It's always been on my bucket list. And really just for the fact of like, it's, a European, vacation, a place to go that wasn't, in my mind, extremely popular in terms of like, like a Paris or a Rome or something like that. It was like, in my mind, like a relaxing, European trip. And I really didn't know much about it. So I was like, okay, you want to go to Amsterdam? She's like, yeah, sure. So we literally bought the tickets that week, and we later, got hotels and like other arrangements. But I planned this trip with really not much expectation, just wanted to try a new place out, and it was the most amazing trip. Of course, upon like looking at the itinerary and figuring out what we wanted to do, I then figured out that Stephen and Penelope was in Amsterdam. I didn't know Stephen was. I knew very little about him beforehand. I knew that, of course, he made beautiful patterns and like lots of great colors. I had never made one of his patterns before, but I knew a lot about him. And then I later found out from my knitting group that he had a yarn store. And then after we booked our tickets, I found out that his store was in Amsterdam. And I was like, that's amazing. I'm going there. So obviously it made me even more excited about visiting Amsterdam. But amongst that, we did a bunch of other things. We got to see the Anne Frank house, the Van Gogh Museum. We did a lot of like vintage shopping. We had the most amazing cup of coffee at this like really cute little coffee shop just not too far from our hotel. Just honestly, like the walking around, we did a day tour to a lot of like countryside areas, Edam and Zedam, and I think Edam, and Zedam. Hopefully I'm saying those all right, but a lot of the little cute like country towns. We tried a bunch of cheese. It was just the most relaxing, amazing, beautiful international trip that I've taken thus far, and I would love to go back to Amsterdam any other time. Like it was amazing. The only thing I could complain about was that it was so cold, and that was our fault. We just weren't prepared for the weather. It said it was going to be 50 degrees that entire time, and it was just like an Amsterdam version of 50 degrees. We were cold. We brought like little windbreakers and like a cute little scarf. We were freezing, but other than that, we had a great time. We took a canal tour. We even went to the red light district. We tried like everything. We ate there was amazing, and I would love to go back soon. It's such a great trip. But of course, while I was there, I stopped in Stephen and Penelope, and I had the biggest, amazing haul. But it was the best experience there. All the staff was really friendly. I got a bunch of different yarn, a couple different books, and a bag that you can see right back there. So I wanted to start off with acquisitions. So you walk into Stephen Penelope, and you see like all this beautiful yarn. There's a notions wall. But I kind of had an idea in my head of like what I wanted to get because I didn't want to go there and get overwhelmed because it is Stephen and Penelope. It's a big yarn store. It's very well known. I was like, I don't want to get there and just like buy a bunch of stuff. I kind of want to have an idea of what to get. So I had already made like a little cart online, and I knew for sure that I wanted to get all of the books that they had available there because for some reason, at least for me, I have a hard time finding his books in the States. I have only seen them at one other store here. They were like sold out of, it was just like one of his books that they had. And I was like, well, there's like, so it's just hard to find here. I found a few online, but I was like, you know what, since I'm going there, I'm just going to get like all the books they have by him there. Cause I like to have physical copies of books. And I realized also with this book, you get the free ebook link as well. So the first thing I picked up, of course, were 3 of his pattern books. First one being the Hyper Knitting book. This is number 3. A lot of great patterns in this book. Just, of course, in Stephen West fashion, a bunch of color inspiration. There's even like sock patterns here. Just from like the few things that I've seen thus far, like looking through them, I'm so excited to like work on some of these patterns. Look at that sweater. So beautiful. So I picked up this one and I got the Sweats Knits Best Knits. It is number 2 sweaters. This one's actually really, really cool because it's like a bunch of different like piecing together options for sweaters and ponchos. This is just visually very, very interesting. And there's a lot of like kind of create your own techniques within this as well. And the visuals of the photography that he puts in his books is just amazing. That's like one of the reasons I love like his work as well. This one's really nice too. But very, very interesting. And this one, I was the most excited about the painting shawls. I'm actually working on one of his painting shawls. Well, literally one of the honeycomb painting shawls pattern. Oh, look at that. This book is so amazing. And actually, after I'm done with my shawl, I'm going to start working on one of his painting shawl sweaters. So those are the 3 books that I got. Definitely well worth it. I have yet to make a pattern. Well, actually, I am working on a pattern out of this book right now, but I had bought it online. So this is before I got the book. I ended up already started making one of the painting shawls, but I'm sure I'm going to make many, many more of the patterns in all of these books, but for sure the painting shawls one. Those are the 3 books that I got. And these were all the things that were on my original list to get on the online cart. Then, of course, I wanted one of his redesign bags. Now, he had a bunch of different ones. This one, I wanted a red one initially. I went there with the idea of picking up one of his red ones because I figured I learned online that was like one of the colorways that was like special to his store through the redesign. But when I got there, I didn't really like the shade of red that it was, and I kind of figured that would happen because sometimes things are a little bit different from online and in person. But this one was just like sitting on one of the shelves, and I was like, it's so beautiful and chic and classic, and look at that top handle. And it can fit about a sweater weight project. I'm working on a sweater right now, but it got a little bit too big for this. But like when you're working on when you're still in the yoke process, it can also fit in here. And I can show you. I have my painting shawl, my honeycomb shawl in here right now. And it fits a good amount of stuff. Like this is where I keep the shawl and the main color. And then this is where I keep all the additional contrasting colors. I have a pattern. And I also have an additional little bag of like little scrap yarns that I figured I could probably start using in my shawl. And then there's a little bag in the middle where you can keep like your scissors. That's like little notions and things like that. It's a little zipper pouch. Have a few items in there. And then along this side, you have where you can maybe put needles. It's like a little Velcro, elastic strap. There's 3 little holes where you can like put needles and anything that you want to keep secure. And then if I flip it around on this side behind my pattern, you have 2 little zipper elastic bands that you can probably put like a skein of yarn. These little, or cakes of yarn. My cakes thus far are a little bit too big to fit in that space, but as they get smaller, I might want to contain them a little bit more in there. So those are the items that I was originally planning on getting. So I went there with the intention of picking these items up at least. My friend, Melinda, she's like, I know you're not going to leave here without getting yarn. I was like, I really should though. Like I came here just for these items. I don't need any yarn. But of course, I then got some yarn. But what I did do is I only got yarn to make projects that were already in my queue. I'm trying to get better with not just buying random one skeins. It's so hard because I love to just be like, oh, this skein is so pretty, and pick it up, put it in my cart, and buy it, and then just have it, kind of my stash. And eventually they do get used, but it takes a little while because, you have to maybe match it up with something else. So I made sure that I did not just buy one skein. I bought a bunch of different skeins, but I made sure that they were all getting patterns from my queue. So the first pattern in my queue that I wanted to get yarn for was the painting. I think it's a painting brick sweater by Stephen West. So I did get the yarn for that. Look at these beautiful colors. This one's going to be my main color. So I got, I think 5 or 6 skeins of this one. This is my base. And then all these on these side will be my contrast. I had one of the shop owners, one of the shop ladies in the shop that are working there help me pick out the colors. I'm so indecisive. So I knew that going in that I wanted this dark pink color. And then I was like, in true Stephen West fashion, let's just throw a random little pop of the pickle. I think it's called pickleball. Pickle juice in there because, gotta do that. And then she picked these other two colors. So I'm always so indecisive. I don't know. There's literally no way to know until you do the swatch or until you make the sweater, and then you kind of figure out, oh, if these colors worked or not. I kind of feel like they will. I like all the colors. We did the whole like black and white scale, grade scale to see, the contrast, and it supposedly it worked out well, she said. So we will see. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to make the Painting Bricks sweater with these colors. And then in this bag, this is one of the bags that I got from Stephen West as well. It was hanging on the wall right next to the yarn. It's just a cute little Stephen West with a bicycle. It says Amsterdam on it. So cute. It's a project bag. And then, because I couldn't leave apparently without getting a bunch of yarn, I then decided that because I have a goal of making these jalapeno socks that I got from a sock knitting, I think it's called Charming Socks knitting book or knitting pattern book. I wanted to get the yarn to make that because they've been in my queue for a long time. I really want to make them. And it's hard to find the exact like red that I wanted in green, and they had it there in a mini skein, which is great. So I bought a skein of their Westwool Hex 85 sock yarn. Westwool Hex in this like dark blue navy color. And then I brought a mini skein in this red, which is this is going to be the jalapeno color. And then this is going to be the stem. Look at that. So cool. So that's all the stuff I got from Stephen West. Like I was from Stephen Penelope. I was like, okay, I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry. I ended up spending way too much money there. They were like, they're like, look, this is a no judgment zone. We don't care and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know, I get it. But I was so excited. And luckily everything fit in my luggage. So I was excited about that when I got back to the hotel too. But it was the most amazing haul. I really enjoyed Stephen and Penelope. I would go back there again. I love the experience. Everyone that worked there was so nice and helpful, and I had a great time shopping there. And I thought it was funny because my friend Melinda, she's not a knitter, she doesn't do anything like crafty, but she even had a really good time there looking at all the different colors and like meeting the different ladies that were there. And there were a lot of different people that were traveling there from the US that we were talking to. And most of them were like moms or friends of people who were knitters that were just kind of like sitting off to the side, like, just waiting for their, purse to be done. Lots of comfortable seating. You can see all of his beautiful samples there. I wished he would have been there. I didn't get to see him. He wasn't there in the store. But one of the ladies did say that he does just kind of stop in periodically. So maybe one day I will catch him there. Or if he has an event there, I'll go there, travel there just to see Stephen West and Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. Because Amsterdam, I would most definitely go back to. It was one of the most amazing cities I've visited thus far. Everyone there that I met was great. Even all the hotel staff that we spoke to, like it was just everyone there just had a great vibe. It was very like nice, and the city is just so beautiful. So those were the recent acquisitions from Stephen and Penelope. Now I live in Chicago, not too far from Hyde Park, and we just had a Barnes & Noble open up in our area. So I did want to go to the opening of that because I love a good bookstore, and Barnes & Noble is, fairly popular. So I wanted to go. So I picked up this book, 400 Knitting Stitches, which I've already had this book checked out from the library for a very, very long time. But since I was there for the grand opening and I wanted to support, as well as the fact that I knew that I love this book because I've had it checked out from the library for, at this point, months. I just keep renewing it. I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to own this book. So I did go ahead and pick this up from the library, from Barnes & Noble. So that is it for my acquisitions. Let's move on to my whips. Okay, so the current whip that I'm holding that I was like working on before I started this video is this test knit from Briana Arlene, and it is called the Nyx Sweater. Hopefully I'm saying that right. But it's turning out beautifully. Like my colors, at one point I was like a little nervous about them, but I am all for it. And the only thing that I wish I would have done, because now I'm learning more about like the different like how to get the best contrast with your color work knitting. This purple color, this lavender, doesn't work well with the pink. It's not a good contrast. So halfway through, I switched it out, if you can tell, to the white down here in this section. I think that was a good choice because like you can barely even tell, even now on the camera, you can't see it as much. It's kind of blending in with the rest of the colors. So I wish I would have maybe switched that to white a little bit earlier, but it's fine. It still works. And I love that when I switched to white, I was just so excited. And it's like this mint green with the, was it mint blue? This mint blue with the, oh my gosh, with the forest green. And this like with the mint blue with the green. It's just, it works beautifully. I love it. It's something that I would have normally never chose. I don't prefer lighter color work or like light colors. I don't tend to wear a lot of light colors. So I think that that was just really nice that I chose something that was different for me and like my wardrobe. And I'm so excited to be finished with it. I'm almost done with the body. Hopefully I can finish the body up this week because the testing ends April 12th. So it is less than a month away now. So I need to finish the body so I can work on the sleeves and be done. And also I signed up to test knit the corresponding hat pattern to this sweater. So I want to go ahead and have enough time to finish body, finish sleeves, and finish the hat. So if I can get the body done this week, I should be in a good spot to finish the sleeves and the hat again, all before the test knit ends. This was, so far, has been working out great. I've already tried it on. The yoke and everything was fitting. So I'm looking forward to being done with this and getting to wear it. And then I have in here, which is my honeycomb painting shawls. How do you say the pattern name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Painting honeycomb shawl by Stephen West in my redesigned bag from Stephen and Penelope. It's coming along beautifully. I keep getting so many compliments on this when I work on it in public. So it's like, at this point, my sweater is a little bit too big to be bringing around in public. So I don't bring that anymore. I just bring my shawl. But I get so many compliments and I just love this. And all these little color pops are just mini skeins that I've had and remnants from other projects. So thus far, I've been trying to keep in pattern, like keeping the same, color scheme, whatever going. But I'm starting to run out, for instance, of this bright pink pop one. So I'm going to switch that out to another mini skein that I bought. And I wonder if I want to keep going with that or just kind of start like reaching in the bag and pulling out a contrast color randomly. So I don't know. Maybe I'll switch it up at some point and play around with just pulling a random one out. That'd be kind of fun. But normally, again, I'm not a big green person, but I feel like I'm in my green era. I've been picking more greens, and using this base color as a green was a great idea because it just brings these other colors together in my mind just so beautifully. And I can't wait to wear this. I'm already getting so many compliments on it, just working on it. Even like in the airport, when we're leaving Amsterdam, with my knitting group, when I'm working on the train, like people seem to love it. So I'm excited to finish working on it and eventually to wear it. Okay, and then okay, so another whip that I believe I showed in my last video, which I ended up like unraveling, again, me with the whole gauge issue. Although I did hear someone else from my knitting group this weekend say that they don't do gauge swatches either. So it's not just me, people. There are plenty of knitters out here that aren't gauge swatching. Does it cause me more heartache? Absolutely. Have I had to unravel things? Absolutely. Have I wasted a bunch of time? Absolutely. Do I do gauge swatches? No. I said what I said. Now, I have since unraveled and recasted on my, what is this? The Nyx Sweater, NYX Sweater by the Caribbean. And I think I'm about ready to start doing the color work on here. So there's that. So I unraveled and I realized I did need to go up a needle size in the body, just one needle size, because I did end up doing a gauge swatch that I was so frustrated with the fact that I had to unravel it, and I hadn't gotten too far. It was like just like the very first part of the yoke, but because it involved the color work and I was having issues, I did go ahead and do the gauge swatch, whatever, and realized I should have went up maybe a needle size for the body, and so I did recast on, and I have since fixed that issue, and I will, moving forward with the color work, I'll dump up the sides and I'll be fine. So this is my progress on the Nyx Sweater, but I'm still working through because I do really want, I think, these two colors together, that beautiful navy blue with this pop of green. It's just so pretty to me. So I'm still turning through that. And I've added another whip to the party here. This one is for a friend, actually my friend Melinda, who I went to Amsterdam with. I told her that I would make her a Stephen West pattern, knitting pattern. So So I'm doing this one, which is the, what's it called? It's a cowl, but I can't think of, it's a, oh, the Cablage Cowl. Cablage? I think that's how you say it. The Cablage Cowl. So originally she asked me to do it in like a pale pink color because she wanted to match one of the hats that she bought there. I didn't have any pale pink, so but I did, it had, this pattern is out of a bulky weight yarn, so I had very little bulky weight yarn, but I did it in this like lavender purple that I felt like could kind of go well with the hat. It's kind of like contrasty, but I thought it was in a similar idea. But again, it's the only bulky weight yarn I had, so hopefully she likes it still. I'm excited to be working on cables, especially in this bulky weight. I casted this on like 2 weeks ago. Again, no reason why it's not done, because this is probably something I could do in a weekend because it's so chunky, but it's fine. This must be a worsted weight yarn because I doubled it up, so there's that. But it's so squishy. I rarely work in bulky yarn, but maybe I should do more of that because I just love the texture that it's creating. I just love this color of this yarn too, so this has been a fun pattern. And also, like, when I feel like my sweater, like right now I'm working on a sweater, is getting too big, it's nice to have smaller things I can kind of just throw in a bag and work on the train, or something that's a little bit more portable. So I've added that to my whip party here. Okay, so we've gone through acquisitions and we've gone through whips. What am I missing? Oh, finished projects. I have none. I don't think that I finished anything since the last video that I can think of. So I think that is it. I did want to mention, or just I guess like a little shout out for my knitting group, Fiber Friend Studios, because I feel like I do a little bit of that in these videos, but I've never like done like an official one. So I'm in a knitting group called Fiber Friend Studios. We are on Meetup. So if you go to meetup.com and search Fiber Friends, and I'll add the link below as well, you can find us there. Also, the woman who started our group, her name is Tina. She also has a yarn store here in Hyde Park, Chicago, which is called Fiber Friends Studios. You can take classes there. You can, of course, buy a bunch of yarn. And she also does meetups on Thursday and Friday evenings, which are really nice. I've been to those as well. And then we do our normal meetups are the Saturday morning ones, and we meet at different coffee shops on Saturday mornings, different coffee shops along with the South Side. And we have a really good time. And also I help out too. I'm like one of the co-organizers for the group. So I also help and I plan like special events in addition to our regular scheduled meetups. So yesterday, today is Monday, I organized a Sunday meetup at this place called Sushi Rotary here in Chicago in Chinatown. It was so fun. So we met up at this sushi restaurant and we were like knitting there. But it's so cute because this restaurant has like the sushi like rotating around you. So it's like it goes on a conveyor belt through the whole restaurant. And then you can kind of see a little description of what the sushi will be. And you can just grab whatever you're interested in from the conveyor belt. And then they'll add up your total at the end based on the color of the plate of the sushi. You can then go ahead and order more of whatever sushi you did like, which was kind of fun. So we were like doing that while also knitting. And then actually prior to that, there was a special event that the owner, like the head of the group started or did at Call and Response, which is a bookstore, a Black-owned bookstore here in Hyde Park. So we did a little meetup there. So, and we had a great time there as well. And then we all bought a book, which was nice. And I was thinking it would be kind of cute because like a lot of my friends in my knitting group are also readers. And I've been trying to get back into reading physical books. I love a good audiobook. I love a good podcast. But at one point before college, I was a big reader and I have lost that. So I've been trying to like push more of reading, you know, physical books for me. And right now, one second. Right now, I'm reading Real Men Knit by Kawani Jackson, which has been out for a while. There's also a sequel, which is Not Again, which I also have. Which is right here. So, of course, when I'm done with this, I'll read this. But I'm such a slow reader that I've been reading this book for months at this point. It's only 300 pages. There is literally no reason, but when I have free time, I pick up some knitting and not a book. So I've been trying to get back into that. but I thought it would be really cute for us to maybe do like a blind book trade where we wrap up our books and then we just kind of like put them in a pile, and then everyone can go home with a new used, like, you know, a traded book. So like kind of like a yarn swap, but a book swap amongst our group. So those are some of the things that we do with my knitting group, and I decided to go ahead and put that out there. So if anyone's in the Chicago area and you want to, and you're looking for a all-inclusive, like, we're such a great group, like so many different like walks of life and like different ages, and like I think that it's a great group where I feel like everyone has a different perspective, everyone has like lots of different careers and are into different things, and I just love my knitting group. So I wanted to put that out there. So if you guys want to join, or if you just want to hear more about like things that events that we're doing and stuff like that, just let me know in the comments, and let me know about what you're working on. And if you have a great knitting group as well and you want to shout it out, go ahead and do that in the comments. I love to hear more about what's going on and amongst the fiber community and all over the, you know, world. So whatever your knitting group is, and if you like it, go ahead and shout it out. But thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.